Welcome back to Data Cloud Now. We are examining manufacturing and delighted to be joined by Greg, who is currently at Hannover Messe in Germany. Greg, great to have you on the program today. The world of manufacturing is clearly gathering all around you at Hannover Messe. What are you hearing from partners and customers, and what excites you about the Manufacturing Data Cloud launch?
Thanks, Ryan. Really appreciate you having me on the show today. It's been great. Appreciate all your support. No, you're absolutely right. This is tremendously exciting. I get to walk around and see the excitement here at Hannover, all the different booths, all the different partners and manufacturing industry leaders presenting what they're doing here. Truly a lot going on. And for me, what's exciting to see is that there's so much automation, so many new things that are bringing and coming to manufacturers, especially in the shop floor areas, to help them produce those products. And where that excites us is that means a lot more data streams coming in, a lot more equipment that needs data, that is generating that data, a lot more analytics, a lot more integrations that need to go on to help really take advantage of what that data can do and bringing the value of that data to the customer. So as we look at not just those, the really cool machines and different production processes that are around these different booths, it's really then thinking about, all right, not only how do they operate more efficiently, but how do we get them to operate in those existing environments? It's all part of these bigger ecosystems, whether that's plant floors and lines or even the supply chain, and how to really show that integration, in that across the whole ecosystem. And that's really where that manufacturing data cloud and the foundation we bring in together with our partners really gets to take advantage of not just these new systems, but those existing systems, and really integrate the two together really flexibly, securely, which is a key component here as well, and really drive that business value that we're seeing coming from the shop floor and across the manufacturing organizations.
Greg, I've had the opportunity to interview executives throughout this time at Hannover, and the overall excitement for the industry has been incredible. From your perspective, why was now the appropriate time for this launch?
No, I think it was absolutely the right time. As I look at all the conversations, as you mentioned, conversations I've been having with our manufacturing customers and partners leading up to this event, and looking at a lot of these common themes where we talk about IT and OT convergence. So the bringing together of the traditional IT types of systems with now those shop floor systems I was just mentioning, that's really at the forefront. So how to get that data, which is different types of data, time series versus transaction, and a lot more details that we'll go into, but how really to bring those together and get value out of the combination. And we're really at the forefront with what is going on in the industry in general, as it's just starting. As I look across, all the different partners and looking at ways to take advantage of that data, it's really exciting. It's really at the right time with, again, how to exploit these new combinations of data, the collaboration, the flexibility needed to bring those together. Just tremendous timing, both for us and the industry as we get together here.
Greg, it's so great to have your perspective. Still very early innings, if you will, for the Manufacturing Data Cloud launch. From your lens and really from that macro perspective, what's top of mind for you as you look over the near term?
So, it's interesting because I was thinking about, as you asked the question, thinking about, okay, we can talk about supply risk, right. And that's been, in everybody's mind since the beginning of COVID, whether it was toilet paper or chips, and ESG topics and demand volatility. And I can certainly, chat with you about those. But I'll tell you what really started coalescing as I came here and looked at not just what our partners are talking about, but what I'm seeing across the events is simplification. Really taking a lot of these complex systems, lots of different parameters, lots of different data, and trying to drive simplification, whether that's better visualizations in BI tools, whether that's low code or no code approaches to problems, getting broader access to really advanced analytics, to broader sets of users who aren't all necessarily data scientists. That seems to be that common message and theme that I'm seeing both in our manufacturing cloud launch and from our partners, but even the broader group here at Hannover Mesa is really how to simplify those approaches and really drive that value to the broader organizations, not just to a few engineers or a few data scientists, but really expand that usage. And that's really great to see.
Greg, very much living true to what a Snowflake's core values, always putting the customer first. I can hear the excitement, the energy. The booth looks absolutely packed. Snowflake is clearly showing up big for Hannover Messa. But what's next, Greg?
Oh, this is just the start, Ryan. We're so excited. I came in this weekend. We started Monday. A lot of excitement, but this is just the start of this whole manufacturing cloud launch discussion. We've got a number of different conferences coming up. We've got the Gartner Supply Chain Summit in early May. We've got our partners in end of June. We've got the webinars with Molex at the end of May, and I highly recommend for all your listeners and viewers to sign up for that. In between, we are supporting a number of different conferences throughout the next several months, partner conferences, user conferences that we're invited to continue this discussion on not just what we're doing today with the Manufacturing Data Cloud, but what we'll be doing tomorrow and how we're driving further insights and working more with the partners and the data providers and the Powered by Solutions and all those folks to continue to focus on what the customers are looking for in this manufacturing and supply chain space. Really great stuff. Stay tuned. That's all I can say.
I love it, Greg. Looking forward to seeing how it plays out in the near term and continuing this conversation down the line. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on Data Cloud Now. Thanks again, Greg.
Thanks, Ryan. Really appreciate it.
And for the audience watching, I'm Ryan Green with Data Cloud Now. I'll see you soon.